Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Puteri Aina Natasha Binti Nizman. Did you know that over 45% of 1,084 Malaysian respondents were experiencing varying levels of anxiety and depression during the pandemic COVID-19? Being in isolation increases the fear and the helplessness that someone feels, and this can lead to anxiety and depression, said Mr. R.D. Ayadali. Let me give you another one data. According to the World Health Organization, conducted an online survey in the Malaysian state of Pahang to evaluate the level of depression, anxiety, and stress experienced by low-income household or known as B40. The reason for this is because during the COVID-19 pandemic, the B40 household appeared to be impacted. The result extracted data from 128 respondents from B40 around the state showed that 31% respondents had moderate depression, 40% had severe depression, and 22% had extremely severe depression. Moreover, 15% respondents had moderate anxiety, 60% had severe anxiety, and 68% had extremely severe anxiety. The result also showed that 31% respondents had moderate stress, 36% had severe stress, and 18% had extremely severe stress. This research demonstrated how pandemics have a significant impact on mental health concerns such as depression, anxiety, and stress. I'm sure many of you are aware that several of our relatives, spouses, siblings, and colleagues suffer from mental health concerns because of losing their jobs, childhood experience such as physical or emotional abuse, loss of relative, and any other reasons. Considering the effects will allow us to help and support these people. While there has been significant progress in educating the public about mental illness, there is still a prevailing stigma in society that depression is not as serious as other illnesses. This issue is common everywhere around us. People's life may be worsened and be wrecked if we do not address and resolve these mental health issues. As I mentioned just now, one of the three common mental health issues are related to the topic that I want to talk about today. Let us begin with the most severe of the three common mental illnesses, which is depression and how depression works. Chronic or long-term stress can be harmful on its own, but it can also contribute to depression. Depression is a sign of brain problem. The depression itself occurs wholly within the brain because of the differences in the way the brain perceives certain chemicals and signals in comparison to other which is mentally healthy individuals. I will show you the image that illustrates the normal person's brain with the people who suffer from depression. Depression can have an impact on ability to concentrate and suicidal thoughts or attempt and many other aspects. Depression rates were already high before the pandemic hit, but it has drastically increased during the pandemic. Some people experience from reactive depressions because of personal loss or tragedy, such as the death of loved ones and the loss of a job, or difficult recover from traumatic experience. The point is that I want to emphasize the importance of taking depression seriously. The first reason is depression can cause of difficulty concentrating on tasks or daily routines and lose interest in daily activities. They would think or move slower. Unfortunately, it has potential to affect every part of their body. For example, they frequently experience feelings of emptiness or hopelessness as well as exhaustion. Harvard Health Publishing website states that it can lower the ability to adapt goals and strategies to changing the situations and the ability to take all the steps to get something done. They are unable to perform their tasks properly, and some are unable to complete the work within the time frame specified because it can be time consuming. Other symptoms can occur because they impair your ability to function when you are depressed. For example, you do not always prioritize hygiene. Avoiding the basics of hygiene can result in dry skins or rashes if you do not take a bath, and dental problems if you do not brush your teeth, and so on. It proves how depression can reduce one's mood and energy to engage in enjoyable and important activities such as taking care of yourself. The second and the most important reason is that depression can lead to suicide and suicidal thoughts. Having a major depression increases the risk of suicide when compared to people who do not have depressions. The risk of suicide may be related in the part of severity of the depressions. According to the New Straits Times website, the number of suicides has increased in recent years. It depicts the rising number of suicide attempts from 2016 to 2021. Aside from that, the data can also be subdivided by gender, with 212 males and 100 females attempting suicide in 2021. I would like to give you some examples of suicide caused by depressions. It demonstrates how the case continues to unfold day after day. Based on the police data, suicidal attempts include self-harm, poisoning, jumping from heights, hanging, self-immolations, drowning, and deliberate exposure to motor vehicles' exhaust gas. We can conclude that depression can result in tragic death because of suicide. Everyone wants to die in peace, not in a tragic way. Therefore, depression should not be ignored. Finally, depression is an important issue that we should be aware of since it can happen in many ways, including experiences, losing financial support, and traumatic events. It can cause many problems that have an impact on their daily lives, such as lack of energy and excitement on doing activities. It turns into a starting point of suicidal thoughts, which can lead cause to people's death. Depression should be given the same amount of attention as other chronic diseases to ensure everyone remains healthy. Although there is no cure for depression, it is treatable through a combination of approaches, especially when it is recognized and properly diagnosed. We must remember that mental illness is real and it can happen to anyone. We should help them, and they can also access themselves by seeking help and support or doing something productive. Peter McWilliams said, "The simple solution for disappointment depressions: get up, get moving, physically move, do, act, get going. If you ever consider seeking help, don't be ashamed. Try to contact Thailand Kasih Hotline or Mental Illness Awareness and Support Association at any time." You need to remember, we need to start making healthy choices for our mind. Thank you for your time and considerations. I truly appreciate it. And I hope that I can raise awareness among all of you so that you'll be physically, emotionally, and mentally healthy.